Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And today we're going to talk about movie, Renfield.
Yeah.
I forgot for a second. I'm so prepared, though. I have notes.
And clearly the movie was very memorable.
Yeah. But before we get into the memorable movie, Renfield, did you like anything this week, Dan?
Yeah, a few things, as usual. I actually got through more than I thought. I decided to read the two books that are the prequel books to the D&D movie. One's called The Druid's Call. Sorry, stupid chair. And that's written by E.K. Johnson. And I looked... The E.K. Johnson... So that one's the YA one, and that one's about Dork, the druid, and her story there. And like I was joking with you off mic, she has like the classic D&D backstory where she's an orphan, abandoned in the woods, raised by the elves, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so classic D&D. I loved it.
Nice.
But yeah, E.K. Johnson has also written like other like Star Wars books and stuff like that as well. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then the other one, The Road to Neverwinter, was about Holga and Egan, or Ed, sorry, and how they all kind of become a crew with Forge and Sam and Kira, the daughter. And it covers a lot of the events that are also mentioned in the movie. So, you know, not like they were... It's kind of already structured in a way, but then it just delves into like the heist, where essentially they always, like the movie, and as you know, like playing D&D, it always goes wrong. Right? They're like, here's the plan. You know, we're gonna go in, do the thing, perfect, and then it's like chaos. So, but yeah, I enjoyed them both. They were both like, you know, simple reads, and like we spoke about, I really enjoyed that movie and hope more. So
Yeah, I hope they make more too.
And then I finished Metalocalypse Season 1, because after we spoke and I got tickets to the show, just doing a little bit of rewatch. Such a good show.
Nice.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And one thing I'm going to recommend, I recommend everybody read this book. It was not very long. Well, I mean, relatively speaking, it was like 300-page count or whatever, but it was quick. Is The Petroleum Papers by Jeff Dembocki. Who turns out to be Canadian, because throughout the book I was reading, he very much does heavily focus on the oil sands in Alberta and talks a lot about that and everything. And I was like, wow, this guy is like pretty informed about it. And at the end, there was a little blurb about like, you know, the author, he lived in Vancouver for a time as well. Like he mentions that in the book. And then I looked him up and I was like, oh, he is from Alberta and got a journalism degree out there and everything. And then he wrote like a foreign policy piece that won an actual like energy an award in 2018. And the book is about the oil companies that have used misinformation since the 1960s to debunk or cause wedge issues, basically to screw up climate change and stopping it. And it's infuriating because we've lived through this. And they've known since the 1960s that it's bad, and they're doing it. And it's just terribly and annoying, and it just makes me more infuriating because even, 3 years ago now, I guess at this point, when there was all the, you know, Earth protests and stuff like that, Greta Thunberg and everything, and then there were still people out there touting, well, it's not really happening, and maybe this or that, and it's just like, no, we're killing the planet. And all because these 6 companies just want to make billions of dollars more. And because some of them, like especially the ones run by the Koch brothers, like they had the only refinery in Minnesota that could import Canadian oil sands for like a long time. And their politics are very much they don't want to pay taxes. They don't care about regulation. They want to do everything they can to not give anybody their due. So, you know, workers are getting cancer, they're poisoning the town, and they don't care. And it's just like, hooray. So I don't know, it's pretty terrible and it's very infuriating, but like I said, it was a great read, highly recommend. It was published like last year, so it's very up to date.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just bad.
Book to give you depression?
What, sorry?
Is it a book to give you depression?
Yeah, that's most of the nonfiction I gravitate towards, and because it's, you know, about real things and about that it's really happening. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think I'll say any more, I guess, because I don't want to bring everything down. But good read and infuriating. And then the last thing I'll recommend, this is actually kind of related, is that it's something called Dracula Daily. I don't know if you've heard about this.
No.
And so what someone's done is that the book Bram Stoker's Dracula, I almost did it again, takes place. It's mostly written in like journals and diaries and letters and all that kind of stuff like that. And it takes place between like May and November. And so they've chopped it up so that every day that there's a journal entry, you get an email of that entry.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, if you've never read the book, which I do recommend. It's a good book. It's kind of a way of reading it along with the story in a sense, like as per the day. So as the day we're recording, I got the first one, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, kind of fun thing. Just DraculaDaily.com, I think it is, or it's a Substack or something like that. If you Google that, I'm sure it'll come up. So anyway, something a little fun. And that's it. Yeah. What about yourself? Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm living in 10 years ago. Because so first of all, on my Mission Impossible journey, I've now seen Mission Impossible 3 through 5.
So you've seen them all?
Yes, I don't remember anything from 1 or 2 because it was I watched them when they came out.
Sure.
But I've now seen all of them and I'm looking forward to the next one. I think it'll be fun.
Nice. So out of all of them, which one has been your favorite?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I kind of liked. Shit, now they all roll together. I think it was 5.
Yeah. That's
the
one with Henry Cavill, right?
No, that's 6. Right? Fallout was the latest one. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now.
I think I liked the one before that. Was that Ghost Protocol?
Yes.
That's the one where the Alec Baldwin gets introduced as Guy. And Jeremy Renner's in it.
Yeah.
Because for a while they wanted Jeremy Renner to take over instead of Tom Cruise.
It was a possibility if Cruise wasn't going to continue.
Yeah. So it's. Oh no! Wait. Or am I thinking of 4? I'm getting them mixed up in my head because I did like when they go to Dubai.
Yes.
And the window gets blown out, and then he's like climbing up this with the faulty gloves. So it's kind of a fun scene.
That is the 4th one. Yeah, Ghost Protocol is number 4.
That's Ghost Protocol?
Yes.
What's number 5?
Rogue Nation.
I also enjoyed Rogue Nation. That's the one where it opens with the record store, right?
Yes.
And he goes into the record store, and the lady's like, I can't believe it's really you. And he asks for some obscure record, and then he goes to listen to it, and then they like.
Our bad guy's there.
Yeah, bad guy shoots lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that one too. They're all fun. They're all dumb.
Well, no, now I'm thinking about it. When the next one or the next ones, we could do an episode about it.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be fun. And I was gonna say it's also I also don't know which one would be kind of my favorite. I think, like you said, Ghost Protocols probably would be up there as well. But I think there's elements out of a lot of them that I really do. Like I like Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain in number 3. Like he was really good.
Oh wait, I haven't seen 3 then. I saw 4, 5, 6. No, wait. I think I saw more. I don't remember Philip Seymour Hoffman though.
He is the villain in number 3. So.
What's number 3 about?
It's the one actually directed by J.J. Abrams when they're trying to get the rabbit's foot.
I don't think I've seen 3.
It's pretty good.
I think I saw 6, 4, 5, maybe.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Yeah.
Which is the one where it starts with Tom Cruise in prison?
That's. I think that was Fallout, I think.
No, it wasn't Fallout. Because that one starts with a weird alleyway deal. Honestly, they all merge together in my head, and it doesn't matter because they're just fun, stupid action.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I didn't mean to, to divert the conversation so much. I thought, anyway, moving along.
yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I've watched some of maybe 3, maybe not.
Yeah.
And then I played Portal. I beat Portal.
Nice.
2013. Time to play games. And then I played Portal 2, and I beat Portal 2. And I'm currently playing the Stanley Parable, which I don't think has a way to beat it. But yeah, so yeah, really, Portal and Portal 2 are great games. They're old now, but that's okay. You're old too.
No, Portal 1 and 2 are amazing. They're like one of the series that I wish there was a Portal 3. Like
Yeah, I loved, so like, I thought that I had played them before, but I had only played a little bit of Portal. And so when you, well, spoilers for a 10-year-old game.
Yeah.
So when you get to the part in Portal where GLaDOS is going to incinerate you, and then you get to go in all the background of the game, basically all the like behind the scenes stuff. That was so cool, and I wasn't expecting it, and then it was just really awesome.
Yeah.
And then Portal 2, I wouldn't have appreciated without playing Portal first, but the whole game is so good. I love all the backstory you get in the basement. It's just super fun. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and great like puzzle design using the physics and the mechanics, like how you can solve them and just the movement and everything like that. So much fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
the
did
source
use a
engine was
lot of
so good.
walkthroughs, but you know,
Yeah.
it's my style.
Yeah, the
And
source engine, good.
it's so good. And then Stanley Parable is just like so weird and funny, and like I'm really enjoying it. It's like just, and it's also because it doesn't progress the way like a normal game does. Pardon me. You can just play for 15 minutes and then turn it off.
Right.
You don't feel this like compulsion to keep going. Like I easily spent like 7 hours playing Portal 2 one day. But I do like the like kind of more piecemeal aspect of Stanley Parable, that you can just come and go with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I've been playing video games.
Yeah, like you said, like I've been playing Fallout New Vegas, which is an older one, and yeah, you just get sucked in and play for hours. But that's because it's a big open RPG.
Well, with Portal, I was just like, especially with Portal 2, I'm like, I need to know what happens. I must play this forever.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I also watched a bunch of like lore and like fan theories about both of those games, all 3 of those games. So now my YouTube algorithm is all fucked up again. And if I go on YouTube Shorts, it's just showing me right-wing propaganda because they're like, "You're a gamer, boy. You'll like this." Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. Ding. That's it. That's all that I liked. Everything else is shit.
Yeah, and then we both saw Renfield, of course, just came out this year, 2023. And I was surprised by this, like we were talking about, the director Chris McKay, who made the Tomorrow War, like I spoke of, was going to direct E&D, but then didn't, which I was like, oh, this guy's popping back up, which I guess good for him. He's getting some work. And it was written by Ryan Ridley, and Robert Kirkman got a story by credit, who is, of course, a comic book author, wrote The Walking Dead and Invincible and all sorts of other fun stuff. So I didn't know that. I was surprised by that. But then it also made a lot of sense because it's a pretty comic booky premise, I guess. What did you?
Yeah,
What
for
are your
sure.
initial? What about your initial reactions aside from the forgettableness?
Um, I wanted to like it because
Mm,
I really like Nicholas Hoult. I've been on a bit of a Nicolas Cage kick lately, and I enjoy Awkwafina. But I kind of felt like they made some really weird, especially like in the first like third of the movie. I felt like there was a lot of really weird like editing cinematography choices that just felt really jarring to me and just kind of gave me like almost like whiplash.
Right.
And then I also feel like they introduced Nicolas Cage's Dracula too early. And I also felt like it had like some real bad tonal dissonance going on in the movie. Because the premise, as you know, is that it's modern day. Renfield's been working as Dracula's familiar for years. He gets superpowers from eating bugs, and he's going to an abuse support group initially to find victims for Dracula, but eventually it turns out that he feels like he's in a codependent relationship with the narcissist, which is Dracula, and he and the group ends up helping him. But it's weird because it feels like the movie is trying to be a metaphor for like domestic abuse, but it also has over the top gore and it's got comedic elements, and it's just like kind of all over the place. Like I like the premise, but the execution was flawed.
Mm.
And I also would have preferred, because there's a flashback scene at the beginning that makes it look like an old Dracula movie, and then the end credits make it look like a 70s Dracula movie. And I kind of wish that one of those two tones, or like the different filmmaking styles of vampire movies through the decades, was a little bit more like intentional and prevalent throughout the movie. I think it would have made it more visually interesting, I guess, for lack of a better word. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't really like it. I'm just kind of mad about it. What did you think? Oh, but Nicolas Cage was great as Dracula. That he should do that for all movies.
Yeah, I kind of went in.
Nicolas Cage.
What? Sorry.
I said Nicolas Cage should play Dracula in every movie.
I mean,
even coms.
No, it was. I didn't know going in. Many things. Like I thought it was going to be a period piece going in, which I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't. I was like, oh, this is modern day, and I was like, whatever. But I did like that idea of Nicholas Hoult going to a support group and finding victims by like taking those people's like tormentors and being like, I'll just feed him to Dracula, right? I thought that was an interesting idea. I liked Awkwafina in there being her grumpy Awkwafina self. And I did like the over the top gore because it was just unexpected in this movie. That I was like, oh man, look at all this crazy gore they're doing, and because you don't see that very much anymore. So I was like, oh sweet.
I also really liked the over the top gore. I just felt like there was some tonal dissonance because of it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
But always more gore.
Yeah.
More blood fountains.
There was Nicolas Cage. I thought he looked great, and like when, because spoilers as always, like he gets burnt in the beginning, and then when they're in New Orleans, he's like recuperating, and so he's corpse-esque in the beginning and gets better as the movie goes along. The only thing I felt is I liked the look of his teeth, but then I also like they must have had to ADR all his dialogue, and even then I still it was hard to understand what he was saying. Because I was like, what is going on there? But whatever. And I just didn't know which direction the movie was going to go at all. Like, because again, I didn't know anything going in. And then, so I wasn't expecting this New Orleans crime family that he gets accidentally embroiled in. And then they turn out to be crazy psychos. And I was just like, okay. Like like I said, as soon as I found out that it was story by Kirkman there, I was like, okay, now this is all fitting. This is very comic booky, and it's over the top. And yeah, I felt like I thought that they were going to jettison the support group after he kind of gets embroiled with the crime family. Obviously, like they kind of they get used later as more of a foil for like him trying to break away from Dracula. But I thought, like you said, it just kind of was heavy in this movie that was filled with comedy and over the top gore, where you're talking about some real world stuff over here, and
yeah.
and so that said, it kind of seemed odd. I did like I was saying though, I did like the two jokes where that one woman gets interrupted both times. He's trying to do like a share. Yes, good joke. But also, like you said, it was kind of like a serious note in this movie that wasn't very serious.
Yeah, it felt weird, right? Like I wouldn't mind a dark, gritty modern day Dracula or vampire movie with this premise where like he goes to support groups and finds like assholes that are abusive and like steals them for Dracula to drink their blood. Like that's a cool premise. I like it, right? Or if you want to use the eternal youth thing, have like almost like a child vampire that seeks out, the P word. That might be an interesting, but again, dark. It has to be like these are real issues that people go through, and it's kind of weird to like make light of them.
Yeah, or just like you're saying, just consistent with the tone. It's like it doesn't have to be necessarily super dark, but it's just consistent. Because then, like he goes to that meeting, and then he's at the restaurant, and then there's a crazy action scene where he uses his powers and helps Awkwafina, and it's just like you said, yeah, we just saw this thing where he's really down. There's depressed people for a good reason.
Yeah.
But I liked Nicholas Hoult's performance, and I liked his look. He looked like a man who hasn't seen the sun in forever, right?
Yeah. He's such a good actor. Like I like him in everything. Like since he was in About a Boy as a kid, loved him in everything I've seen him in. Apparently, I didn't realize this. He was the son in Weatherman.
Yeah.
With Nicolas Cage, so he's already acted with him.
Yeah.
Like he's great. He's a great actor. I really enjoy him. He's got great comedic timing. Just the rest of the movie I had an issue with.
Yeah, and I was just going to bring up, I know it's not your favorite, but I just watched Fury Road today, and he's really good in that, because again, it's like just that his performance as this kind of pathetic war boy who's trying to get like, approval, and it all goes wrong and everything like that. It's good.
Oh, he's a great actor. He was also like, if you haven't seen The Great on Prime, he's so good in that. He's just absolutely hilarious. He's playing Peter the Great's son / Catherine the Great's husband.
Oh, cool.
And
you talked about that.
Yeah, he never gets the moniker of the Great, but he thinks he's the Great. You know what I mean? Like he's so good. He's so good at being an accidental asshole.
Yeah.
Like he's in the menu. Like he's not like, you don't get the impression that he's deliberately trying to be malicious, but he's so selfish that he can't help but hurt other people. And he's so good at that. Like he just excels at it. He's so great at doing that. And maybe he just cared too much in this movie. Maybe that's what it was.
Well, or like you said, I'm just thinking back to because he does like a montage of like where he's like, I'm not going to work for Dracula anymore, and gets his own place and like cleans up, wearing some newer clothes and stuff like that, and flowers and etc. And it's like, again, it just went from like a super serious moment to that.
Yeah.
And then when it goes like third act, like full ramp up, it was just like, okay, now we're in a crazy superhero section of the movie.
Also, the son of the gangster.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, the lady, crime boss lady.
Yeah.
I love her voice. If she narrates like any audiobook, I will listen to it because she sounds so cool.
She's done a ton of stuff, and I'm gonna butcher her name, unfortunately. Shohreh Aghdashloo. Like she was in The Expanse, and she's been in just tons of stuff. And yes, she's always nailing it.
She's great. But her son in the movie, was played by
Ben Schwartz.
What's his name?
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz, which I only know from Parks and Rec, where he played John Ralphio. And he's basically the same character in that as he was in this movie.
Oh.
Like, not like a gangster, but kind of very inept, but thinks he's very cool. And I don't know, that was kind of jarring too, because like Mom is like, we get a scene where Mom is like literally torturing somebody in the basement of their crime house. Or she's not doing it, but there's somebody else doing it on her behalf.
Yeah.
And then he's just like such a weird little goofball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, are we supposed to be scared of these people or laughing at these people? Are they supposed to be like, I know he's supposed to be like the inept son who wants approval, but like it's still, it just felt weird. And then also the hitman they have at the beginning. So Nicholas Hoult
or whatever it was his name was.
What was it?
Wasn't it like the Wolf or something like that? Yeah, like the guy wearing the apron with all the knives.
He looks like a fucking Arkham villain.
Yeah, he looks like out of like a Jason movie or something.
Yeah, and like nobody else in the movie's doing that. And it's like implied almost that he is like super strict, but like it's not acknowledged anywhere else that anyone has superpowers. Like, why is he in the movie?
Yeah.
Like, why did that? You could have just had like a Dolph Lundgren type fight him, but instead they have this weird fucking supervillain out of nowhere.
Yeah, like, does this guy walk out? Did he take the bus? Did he walk down the street with his apron and his like his mask and all these knives?
Did the gangster son drive him there? Did they carpool? Like, what was going on?
He's getting in his Maserati or whatever. It's just like, hey, can you not get all your fur all over my seats?
And then like his weird response to, like, I mean, not weird, but he's scared when, you know, guy's head hits his car and he drives off. And then he sees the cops, and then he just acts like a complete idiot. He's throwing cocaine around, and I'm like, what is this movie? What's going on?
Yeah.
and I guess like it's also weird because like there's no like straight man in it, except for maybe like gangster lady boss. Like everybody else is like at a 10 almost for, like goofiness. Like I guess maybe Awkwafina's like at an 8, but
I was
like,
going to say Awkwafina goes back and forth because she's trying to solve the crime and then she's also yelling at everybody.
Yeah, like she's making weird choices and she's great. Like I'm not, I don't mean the actress is making weird choices, but her character's making all kinds of weird choices in the movie. And like then Nicholas Hoult is, you know, all over the map. Dracula's like at a 10 for camp. John Ralphio is like thinks he's still in Parks and Rec. And then I don't know, man. Like
yeah, that scene as well when like you said, when the head hits the car and then he drives off and then he gets into like it's like a DOI checkpoint and there's Awkwafina and she's like, oh, that's that Ted Lobo's car. But I was like, okay, you know, he just has to play it cool and he'll be fine. Like he doesn't have any like, sure, he's got some cocaine, but you just bag that up or whatever and you hide that. Instead, he just like, yeah, like you said, he just goes wild and starts driving crazy. And I was like, what is it? You just play it cool. Just be like, hey, cops, and then just like, I'm not drunk. Right?
Yeah, like it's later revealed that the entire police force is paid by so he really has no, like nothing bad's gonna happen to him. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is going on? I guess.
Sorry, I would say even the scene when he gets picked up and then he's in the interrogation room with nobody and just like blabbing and stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, you're like son of the gangster family, you would know that you don't talk and you're gonna have a lawyer show up and just bail you out in like a second. You're a crime family.
Yeah, just I was gonna say like maybe they could excuse his weird behavior when he's going through the police checkpoint as being like a trauma response to having a head thrown at his car. which is a weird sentence that I've just said, but like that doesn't like it still doesn't match anything else that's going. I don't. This movie, I wanted to like it so bad. I was really looking forward to it.
You very much were.
It's so weird, man. Like it's not terrible, but it's not good.
Yeah, like I didn't have a bad time like watching it, and it wasn't very long. Like it's under 2 hours, so it was just like a, it was kind of a breeze as it went by. But I think, like you said earlier, and yeah, like the crazy action scenes with a lot of the gore, that was fun, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed Nick Cage, and like I was saying earlier, Nicholas Hoult when he or Renfield, sorry, when he's got his own apartment, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting away," and then Dracula's just there, and then he looks down and sees the mat that says like, "Welcome, come in," and he's like, "Ugh." Like,
Yeah.
touches like that. I like that, and same thing with the support group when the guy's like, "Oh, just come on in," and he's like, "No." So,
That
yeah,
was good too. Yeah.
yeah. So there were some good touches, but I think like you're saying as well that there was two ideas kind of mashed together that just didn't work as well. uh, because yeah, if they just kind of like I said, I thought the support group was going to kind of be Jennison, and then they could focus more with Awkwafina and the cop, and then he could like help her in some way or something like that. And that kind of happened at the end, but only by convenience because Dracula hooks up with the Lobos, so they
Yeah.
have the common enemy. But it was kind of just convenient that happened.
Do you know, like Exquisite Corpses, where like one person will draw the head and then they fold over the paper, and then somebody else draws the torso and they fold it over, and then somebody else draws the feet, and then you get like this weird monstrous thing. You can do it with like poems or stories too, where you just see the last line. That's what this movie felt like. It felt like they filmed a bit, and then they were like, it's a movie about Dracula, Renfield going to a support group, and then an entirely different crew came in and was like, okay, cool. But it's like, and then an editor took all of the footage and just like mixed it all together. So you just don't know where you stand at any point during this movie.
Well, and even like you're exactly like you're saying, they have the huge action scene with the SWAT team and the Lobos, and they get away, and then cut to they're sitting outside having tea or coffee,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, aren't you on the run? Like there was a previous scene where there was like an all points bulletin for Awkwafina and Renfield, like let's get them, and then they're just chilling having a coffee, and I was like, what?
So yeah, the most powerful crime family in the city
Yeah.
and all the police, like everybody on the police force is under her payroll, and nobody thinks to look for them in public places.
Yeah. That like exactly. That's like an example of just like they shot that scene and but they just didn't know how to make it fit or whatever, and it was like, did they kill all the cops? They're all dead. No more cops.
All the cops are dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like the bit with Awkwafina's sister, who's in the FBI,
Yeah.
felt very shoehorned in. Like she kind of didn't really have anything to do in the movie except get kidnapped at the end.
Yep.
Like that was her only purpose. So like they have like one scene where she's like, Dad wouldn't want you to be like this, and Awkwafina's like, you don't know what Dad wants. Rah, 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 rah. And then then you kind of like she exists, but like she doesn't really do anything. And then in the end, it's like, oh no, she dead. Oh, sad times. And Renfield's all like, whatever you do, you have to save your sister, and blah blah blah. And it's like, you never fucking met her. You don't know what the fuck's going on. It got weird, like, oh, I had a wife and daughter, and they let them die, and it's like, oh my god, just. You know what? You're trying to make your plot bulletproof by adding all these extraneous details so that we understand the motivations of every single character, and it's making it worse. Just
Right.
let them do what they're gonna do. The end.
Fair enough.
I mean, you've already got a weird supervillain from a Batman comic fucking around in the beginning of the movie. Who cares anymore? Just let them do whatever they want.
Yeah, and just like that idea was kind of fun where he's, trying to find this guy to be a victim and they stole some drugs and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of fun, a confluence of events. Neat." And
Yeah.
then like you said, like crazy Batman villain comes in and I'm like, "Okay, this is kind of going out of nuts." And then we've got Weirdo sitting in the car and so that's back to normal and I'm like, yeah, like if they continued with some more weird Batman villains like at the end rather than fighting a bunch of familiars.
Faceless goons.
Yeah, familiars that are also faceless goons. It would have been like, oh, here's a couple more like weirdos that, yeah, they've been juiced up now too. Like not just Ted Lobo, but a couple, yeah, other weirdos. The Mask and whoever, the Butcher and the Cleaver, and etc. But yeah,
I mean, obviously, like theatrical people.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Hmm?
You cut out. I didn't hear you what you said.
Oh, I just meant that the Lobos obviously. Oh, sorry, what? The Lobos are theatrical people. They should have had more of them. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, I agree. Because that could have added, kept up that fun element.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going all glitchy on me.
Oh no! Glitch, 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 glitch.
Yeah.
Are we back to normal now?
Sorta. But I was gonna say, I don't know if you heard about this with Nicolas Cage that he signed on because he's always wanted to play Dracula, and even though he usually only takes leading roles, he was like, "I'm all right with this. I want to play Dracula."
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Didn't he play a vampire in a different movie though?
I think so. I don't remember.
Isn't it? I think he played a Dracula, or not a Dracula, a vampire in the movie where it's like you'll see the clip going around YouTube sometimes where he's like yelling at his secretary and he's just screaming the alphabet at her, and you think he's just gonna go A B C D, but he just goes through the whole.
Not familiar to me. Sorry.
Oh, I'll find it and I'll send it to you. You reading your notes?
Yeah, I was just trying to see. Sorry if there was anything. Like you were saying, Chris McKay, he kind of wanted it to be like a spiritual sequel to the 1931 Dracula by Todd Browning. And he wanted to have like the film trailers and poster kind of like be done in that style, but that it didn't happen.
Oh, so there was studio interference.
Yeah, well, or at least in that area. Yeah. Because like you said, like even just like that cut back to when Renfield's like, oh, I'll go back to how it really started. And I was like, oh yeah, black and white, like Bela Lugosi style, like let's get this old school. But it was like 10 seconds.
It had like the most beautiful and iconic like 1930s shot where you get like Nicolas Cage's face and it's mostly in shadow, but then you get like that band of light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like right across his eyes. So like classic for that time period.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, beautiful. And then I watched the rest of the movie and I changed my mind.
Well, and not to bash down on the movie too much, it had a budget of $65 million. So far, as of recording, has only made $23 million. So not doing too hot in the box office, as it were.
So I was the only person who wanted to see it, I guess.
Yeah, there were. I mean, the theater when I saw it, it was like a Tuesday after work show, and I don't know. I want to say like there was 20 people in there.
I saw it opening weekend and it wasn't full.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll mention, I guess, the art direction because there was some cool stuff. Like I did like the look of the underground of the hospital. Chris Carine that looked really cool with all like these blood bags being hooked up, and then in a big chair that Dracula could sit in and everything. I was like, all right, this is some cool stuff here. And then the costume design was Lisa Lovas did the costumes there.
Cool. I liked all the costumes. They were good.
Yeah, they look good. Like I said, yeah, he looked good. Renfield, that old English style suit that he hasn't replaced in 100 years. Cool.
It had all the seams were all like frayed and stuff. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. So
it makes me wonder if they were like, because I thought maybe this movie got made because What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series, is so popular, and they had a lot of that like green, purple, neon like thing going on that's like kind of associated with the What We Do in the Shadows. But it just like didn't have the heart of What We Do in the Shadows, and the comedy wasn't elevated like What We Do in the Shadows is.
Well, or like you said, it was, were they trying to go more comedic, or were they trying to make an action crime thing, and it just didn't
They didn't
gel?
know. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
Because it was, my theory, I'm pretty sure is correct. 15 groups of people tried to make this movie, only hearing a like vague description of what they were going for, and then an editor mashed it all up together at the end.
It's quite, yeah. I mean, it's possible, of course. Anything we'd always, especially these days, you don't, maybe 2 years from now there'll be an interview with somebody who was like, oh yeah, this is kind of what happened. But like, these days studios really put on like that lockstep front where like, oh yeah, no, everything was good. We all worked well together. There were some rocky times, but no, it's all fine. And then afterwards, you get John Boyega being like, dude, I hated it.
Wait, did he say that about Star Wars?
Yeah, well, I think it's just because his character got sidelined a lot more, and changes and this and that.
Oh yeah,
right?
because he was supposed to be a Jedi in like the first draft, or when they signed him on, or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was never on board. Not to divulge, I was never on board with Finn as a Jedi theory. I was like stormtrooper turned freedom fighter. Cool. That was great for me. But
yeah, fair.
Yeah. Anyway.
I thought that only Jedis could use lightsabers, so I thought he was a Jedi after I watched the first one.
Mm.
I thought you needed the Force to turn it on.
No, well, so canonically, you need the Force to like wield it correctly because it literally weighs nothing, and so the Force helps you wield it and not hurt yourself as well.
Cool.
Anyway, yeah. Star Wars.
My favorite franchise.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have too much more to say.
That
I think,
really
like I said. Sorry?
Oh, I said if Star Wars was my favorite franchise, that really would bring us back to 2013.
Well, I mean, they've got some good stuff out there. Like, Mando's been doing well. I hear Andor's really good. I haven't.
All trash, man.
Well,
all Star Wars is trash, and I hate it. I hate everything Star Wars.
Well, I'm going to stand on the opposite side of that argument.
Big flaming pile of garbage, and it should die.
I mean, it probably would have been best if it did die like 30 years ago, but it's not. It's keeping going.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I have too much more to say as well. Like I know I'm wishy-washy on like recommendations or anything like that. But a streaming moment and you feel like watching something a little off, sure, this could do it. Not too long. Yeah, but it's got some gore and etc. So it's not a kids movie, of course. But so.
I feel like it's a great movie to watch like while you're stoned on a Tuesday.
Well, I'd say, or some friends there, you're riffing on it, could be having a good time, right?
There you go. Yeah.
So lukewarm recommend, but
I wouldn't pay to go see it in a theater.
Yeah.
I don't think you should do that. It's not worth the $27 billion for the ticket price. Unless you just really like popcorn and you want an excuse to get movie theater popcorn, then go ahead.
Or as some scenarios, it's very hot outside and there's air conditioning in there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There you go. That's my favorite reason to go see a movie.
Yeah. But yeah.
I guess wrap up then?
Yeah, I think so.
We both feel about it.
Yep.
The end. Well, thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with all of your friends, and like and subscribe to us on YouTube so you can see our faces. And then what else do they do? Go to the website, tomeofuselessness.com. Email us, tomeofuselessness@gmail.com. And go on our Instagram, Tome of Uselessness. Occasionally, we put little 1 minute, have 30-second clips of this podcast on there. Another place you can see our faces. And if you want to see Dan's feet, send us $50.
But yeah, like you were saying, email in questions, topic suggestions, comments. We welcome it.
We do. We would love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
You can join our Discord. It doesn't exist because I hate Discord.
Yeah. But yeah, stay
There's
safe.
no Discord.
Oh, sorry.
Don't join our Discord. It doesn't exist.
It's not real.
No.
Stay safe, and thanks for listening.
Bye.